What's good, internet? My name is Pruitt and welcome to my channel. And I recently got a brand new light. It's so much fun to get new stuff for YouTube. It's kind of addicting though. I really wanted to get a more beefy light, something with a little more output, something a little bit more professional, something I could put a softbox on, and that's what I did. So I scoured YouTube looking for the best light for YouTube, super meta, but that's what you do. And I found everybody agreed that if you're not gonna go with an aperture 120D, then you should check out the Godox SL60W. Now, all of these lights are just alphabet soup with letters and numbers, but this light is so freaking good. Now, this is not a review of the light. This is actually me going over some of the main issues with this light that every review I watched mentioned. These issues are not deal breakers, but they're kind of annoying, and they're things that there didn't really seem to be anybody talking about solutions for. So that's what this video is about. A couple of big problems with this light and how you can fix them. And it's really not that expensive. This is a budget light. You can take some of the money you're saving and buy these little fixes and you'll be so happy. So let's get into them. So the number one thing that every single review, and including myself, agree is the worst part about this light is the yoke. The place where you tighten it down so that you can adjust the light and have it angled, and then you tighten it down and it's supposed to stay in place. But this yoke and this kind of system is made of complete plastic and it just doesn't work that well. Plastic on plastic, tightly gripped together with weight. It's just not a good combination. So this is a budget-friendly light, so it makes sense. There's gonna be pieces made out of plastic, but to be honest, I don't know why they went with plastic in this location. There's other parts of the light that are metal, so making this piece out of metal would have made way more sense, but they didn't. So you can just simply tighten that down and never ever touch it again. That's what I would recommend you do. When you get it out of the box, set it at a 90-degree angle, tighten it down, and just leave it alone. And you might be thinking, well then how do I angle the light towards the ceiling or towards the floor? What am I supposed to do? And for that, I recommend you just get a really simple adjustable umbrella stand. This is a piece that you put in between your light stand and the bottom of the SL60W. So it comes with everything you'll need and it's made of 100% metal. It has an almost identical function to the original yoke, except that it's replaceable, it's made of metal, and it also has a few extra features that allow you to add an umbrella if you want, or you can use it to just simply hold the light and put a Bowens mount on. So for 15 bucks, this is an add-on that I think everybody with this light should have. That way you never have to touch the original yoke, you never have to worry about tightening and untightening it, or the plastic degrading or wearing away, or simply cracking. You can just use this replacement umbrella stand, and it's way better. And it has a ratcheting arm. So when you tighten down the umbrella stand yoke, when you've angled it, if the arm that you're tightening is kind of in a weird position or you can't quite reach it, you can just turn it with a spring and then it locks back in place and you can tighten it down further from that better position. So I'd really recommend this. I've used umbrella stands on my lights before in the past and I've sworn by them, and this one is even better. It's only $15. So on that yoke that I suggest you never touch, there is a handle that is actually made of plastic as well. Surprise, surprise. So when you get the light, you're gonna have to tighten this down at least a few times, even if you have the umbrella stand. But this little guy is made of plastic and it's not really that great. But as you can see here, it's removable. So you can replace it with something that's better. And the replacement piece that I'd recommend is a metal piece. I really like this one because whenever you do inevitably need to touch it, at least you'll know that that handle is a little bit more quality than the original one. And you always have a backup because the pack comes with two of them and you're good. So I think between those two things, the majority of what people complain about are out of the way. The yoke, the plastic build, having that kind of like weird piece that could break, and the handle and all that stuff. It's really nice to just replace them, move on, never touch them again, and just use that umbrella stand. And the third thing is that the light itself is pretty light. The light is very lightweight. It doesn't really have any issues being on a light stand. It can just be on the light stand and it's great. It's really not that much heavier than one of my LED light panels, and those are already really lightweight. That doesn't mean that once you start adding things to it that it's gonna remain that way. So if you wanna put any kind of diffusion on it, then you're probably gonna end up getting a softbox. That's one of the big reasons to even get this light, is because it has a Bowens mount softbox option. So even if you get a small softbox and you put it on the light, and then you attach that to a regular old Amazon or newer light stand, then it's gonna be a little bit unstable, especially if you go for a big light dome, something like what I've got, which is a 38-inch light dome. It's way too front heavy. So you're gonna have to get a better stand, probably a C stand. That's probably the best thing to go with. But a good C stand is almost as much money as the light and the softbox combined. So I'd recommend at the beginning, just skip the C stand and just get some sandbags. Sandbags are something that you should probably have in your studio anyway. They come in handy in a lot of situations, but in this case, you can just get the sandbags. They're about 17 bucks for 4. You do have to fill them up yourself, but just go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever and buy a bag of sand. Just pour it in there and you're good. So for a total of like $20, you can just have a sandbag and it'll hold your stand down, and you don't have to worry about buying or upgrading to a more beefy stand. You can just use this for the time being, and then those sandbags, they'll always be useful. So if you do upgrade to a C stand, put them on there too, and then you're really, really set. And finally, pretty much every video that I watched, the comments were filled with questions about fan noise. And I'll be the first person to tell you that the fan noise issue appears to be fixed. It is not perfect. This is a budget light at $130. They're not gonna be including like a super high-tech fan, but for what you're getting, the fan noise is pretty much imperceptible, especially if you're making tech videos or some kind of video that has music underneath of it. You're never gonna be able to hear this fan on video. If you put the mic directly next to it and you purposefully try to be quiet and just let it record, sure, you'll hear it. But if you're doing any kind of normal video work, I really, really doubt you're gonna hear it. I'll pause for a moment and see if this lav on me picks up the fan over there. To be honest, I can barely hear it in this room, and you know, there's general house noises going on, and I really can't hear the fan. So I wouldn't worry about it. As long as you get a newer version off of a reputable website like B&H or Amazon, and you're not buying from a website that's selling some really, really old stock of the units, then I think you're gonna be good. So those are the fixes that I found are really no-brainers. This light is incredibly good, but it's not perfect. But you know, you're already on Amazon, just get the sandbags, get the umbrella stand holder, get that extra little handle, and I really think you're gonna be good to go. I would definitely recommend getting a softbox. You can attach an umbrella, but I don't know, the umbrellas that I found, they don't diffuse it enough. You gotta get a softbox. This thing is really bright, and the softbox is perfect. So make sure you take into account the size of your room when you're getting that big old softbox. And man, this light is gonna be amazing. So definitely get friendly with that like button. If you like this video and you think you'll like more videos like this, then sub to my channel. I'm making new videos all the time, and I really, really appreciate you. All right, later.